Wagwan Generals, welcome back to the Shift Gear podcast, which today we are a little bit upset to call ourselves a Shift Gear podcast because the new Clink Clang is terrible. Um, we were both very distraught by this. We might have to change the name. Actually, you have it on screen somewhere, don't you? Can we take a look at that
I
first,
do.
maybe?
It's called Gear Coding. This is now the Gear Coding podcast.
The Gear Coding podcast. This is jank, man. Why do they just don't like us? They don't rate us.
Well, what's strange is they printed that new Genesect DX with an ability to like get evolution medals, and then Clink Clang is the only evolving metal Pokemon in the set. It's just horrible. And what's really sad for me is like they basically reprinted like almost all the black and white cards. Like all the cards take inspiration from like the old ones, and like this Clink Clang, like this is no inspiration of either the Shift Gear or the Plasma Steel one. And honestly, like if they reprinted Shift Gear word for word, like it wouldn't even be very strong. I don't think so. Like, It's like so sad. This was probably our best chance of ever getting Shift Gear back. So, I mean, well, I hate the design.
We'll live, man. We'll live. I mean, the Durant doesn't do what Durant did either. I have lots of beefs with this stuff.
If Durant is on your bench, it does 20 more damage. You do 40 damage, Aneil.
Just junk, man. Just a bunch of junk.
Yeah, what else? There's a Hydreigon that has Ampy very much, kind of, if you knock out basics.
Okay.
Garbodor. Oh, they gutted Garbodor too. Like, this is a horrible Garbodor.
It is really weird how, like, sometimes they take, like, random inspirations from old cards, and other times they're just nothing similar. Like, it's like, I don't know, there's no, pick a lane here, man. Pick a lane.
Yeah, like Zoroark, they literally combined, like, 2 different Zoroark cards into one.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, Garbodor, Clink Clang, don't get anything. Terrakion, they got
Terrakien's the same card.
It's basically the same card.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, there's a Jellicent. This one's kind of insane. Oh, yeah, there's a Scoffetel. You can, like, shuffle, have your opponent draw 3. We'll go through all the cards eventually. When this is going to come out in English, we'll do our set review later. But we just wanted to lead off the show with how disappointed we are, and hopefully you guys are as well, that we cannot play Shift Gear Clink Clang in 2025.
Everyone send support tickets, bro. I'm sick of this. Everyone spam Pokemon until we get what we want.
Bro, I should make it my life mission to get hired by like creatures to go like be a card designer, make Clink Clang, then quit. Be like, all right.
You probably wouldn't be able to do this show anymore if you worked for Pokemon.
No, like I would work for them for like literally like a month, get that card released, and then I'm coming back.
Yeah, I'd find 4 guests, and suddenly you'd be back. Well, this week, all right. Well, I do want to go over this eventually, like these cards. We'll do that maybe next week or a week after or something, because this is
Yeah, well, next week's NAIC, so we'll probably do our NAIC preview, and then I mean, we might even wait until like these cards are coming out in English, because like we don't really need to review them yet, I don't think. But who knows? We'll figure it out. I mean, we got the Shifties coming up soon as well.
Yeah, the reviews are important to me because it's where I learn what these cards do, so I don't look at these offline.
Well, when you get ready to test for Worlds after NAIC, Aneil, I think you're gonna be spending a lot of time with with these cards. So
Worlds is like the only time of year where we gotta lock in, so I'll know the cards by then, hopefully.
Exactly.
So. All right, so let's take a look at what we were doing. So we had a special event, but I'm gonna try and butcher this as many ways as possible. So the first one we're gonna start with is Bologna.
Bologna.
No, we're gonna call it Bologna. I'm gonna try and butcher it in as many ways possible. So, hidden the surprise deck at the top here was the Roaring Moon deck. Let me take a look at this.
Poison Roaring Moon winning the regional. I mean, I feel like this deck was like on. I mean, people knew this deck existed, but I don't think anyone was like respecting this deck or expected it to be a big part of the meta. And it came in and it won. I mean, I don't think this deck is like crazy good or anything, but like I guess like there's so many evolving decks, like they all blind second. So I'm curious how many like donks Simon, or I don't know if his name's Simon or Simone, got this weekend, because I know he got a couple in top.
So it's got to be Simone.
Okay. So I know he got a couple in top cut. He donked our boy Camille, I think, on the win and in. Unfortunately.
Skill diff.
So yeah, it's just pure skill diff. So I mean, it's also dark type attackers, knockout Gardevoir. There's 3 catchers in here, so a really aggressive build. So I mean, you know, we've kind of had our format get really, really slow now with Gardevoir and Dragonflight kind of dominating. So it kind of like made way for like a really quick deck like this, I guess, to shine.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time on our podcast, right? How many times do we say, hey, there's a lot of merit in playing a deck that like will donk and you'll get free wins and stuff. Like that's always a thing. And as is proven here, you can kind of just high roll a whole tournament. I'm not saying he high rolled, but definitely a deck to look out for. I was playing on ladder last night before I went to bed, and I hit Azul and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And he was playing this deck. So I was a little bit
nice.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised to see that deck around, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
We'll take a look here at the matchup data.
This is just from Roaring Moon across all tournaments. I'm just checking. I mean, his win rates are not that good, to be honest. It's like positive into Dragapult, and then it's negative into almost everything else except even Gardevoir. It's negative. I'm kind of, or not really, because it has 31 ties. But I don't know. Let's see his matchups actually.
Dude, that win percentage metric is so misleading. No
Yeah,
matter how you look at it, it is always
ties.
misleading.
So it's very confusing. I agree. Okay, so see, he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He beat 5 Gardevoirs, 5-0. So I think it's fair to say that this deck, in the hands of a strong player, is favored into Gardevoir.
So. 3 ties, everything else wins. That was just an undefeated tournament run. That's really
from
impressive.
0-0-2 to champ. Started with 2 ties.
Yeah.
Tied against.
I guess that is really, really good. That's a good spot to be in as a Moon player, as an aggressive deck player. You're at 0-0-2. It means you're going to hit all like the slow stuff, right? So you're just going to run over them.
Well, he hit Raging Bolt in the 0-0-2 bracket, and then after that, lots of Guardies. It's like a dangerous game because one more tie like he had here, and all of a sudden he's back to the X2 bracket. So, I guess my question, Aneil, or my takeaway from this is Roaring Moon a deck to look out for? Heading into NAIC, like, do you think this result will have it on more people's radars? More people pick it up, maybe give it a play.
It's got to be a deck you respect, I think, at the very least. And like, there's a lot of that Poison Donk running around ladder as well, and they kind of are on similar wavelengths in a sense. And I don't know if it's a deck that you necessarily need to expect to hit, but it's definitely something that you should look into and keep an eye out on online results. It's like the best way going into these big tournaments. Just take a look at online results and see, like, is a deck like this picking up steam? And that's kind of where the whole like Iron Hands deck that I made a long time ago came up. It was just a random online tournament, and actually I shouldn't say that I made it because I didn't make it, but keep an eye out at like these random online tournaments because you never know what's going to pop up. And a deck like this, I think if it starts picking up steam, you'll be able to tell pretty quick.
Nice. So yeah, I think it'll be maybe up in like a few percentage points of play. I don't think it'll get that crazy popular. I still don't think this deck is like particularly like crazy strong, but I think it's definitely like something to keep your eye on for sure.
There's also old format too. We got to keep that in mind, right?
Yeah, but I think one thing just from testing new format is it's not that different from the old format. Like basically Grimmsnarl gets added to the format, and other than that, like there's not a new deck really, unless people tinker with their old ones. There's cards like a Watchtower.
Hey, I don't know. We'll have to talk about this when we get to the online part. I've been toying around with some stuff. I think there are some new decks. We'll take a look.
Nice. I'm excited to hear your opinions. Otherwise, there wasn't that much going on at this tournament. The other cool thing was there was a Hydreigon in top 16 that lost the win in. Top cut. That would have been insane if we had Hydreigon. So yeah, I mean,
shout out Hydreigon, bro.
Seems this is a cool build. There's like Pidgeot and a Dunsparce in the deck. So kind of like you have Pidgeot as the engine, and you also have the Dunsparce for draw. There's no Fan Rotom, which I feel like would kind of be good if you're playing the Dunsparce and Pidgey and Artisan. So but yeah, really cool to see this. Let's see how many Gardevoirs they beat. 1, 2, they went 3 wins and a tie against that, so pretty good. And their one loss was to Joltik Box, which is Hydreigon weak to grass? Yes, it is. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. I assume their opponent played Iron Leaves. Yeah, they did. So makes sense. So probably like the most unfortunate thing they hit on the win and in, but pretty cool that Hydreigon got all the way there.
Nettie Kosek, that's a sick name too.
Yeah.
Shout out Nettie Kosek.
Shout out Nettie. Yeah, other than that, I don't really have much else to say about this SP. Shout out Camille, 9th. Back-to-back big finishes for the boy. Last week's guest, or 2 weeks ago. Was he on our podcast?
Some might argue his shift gear appearance kind of boosted him up.
Yeah, boosted him up. The shift gear buff, man.
He got clout.
A lot of guests who've come on our podcast and have been having great seasons. Like Julian's been on our podcast. That guy got second at Santiago. Labella's been on our podcast before his last appearance. He won a regional this year.
Yeah. Chow was on our podcast at one point. Yeah, he went crazy.
But that was after he won his second one. But yeah, he won again and then got a...
He won again, bro.
And then he got a third.
It's the shift gear aura points, man. They sit down and their opponent's like, yo, holy, I saw you on that like really, really niche podcast that I found on my YouTube related videos after I clicked 4 times.
Yeah. I mean, I think
shout out all of our guests. Bro.
Yeah, shout out our guests, man. You love to see it. I think the other thing that maybe we can talk about briefly is I do think Dragapult Charizard near the end of this format's been like creeping up in play. And I think in NAIC, that's a deck that is kind of picking up some hype just from like testing circles I've talked to or people.
Shout out our other guest, Jackson Ford, for his Dragapult Charizard
the
work.
Pultzard God. I think he's doing a class on it, so go sign up for his class.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then yeah, I mean, like, this deck has been picking up a lot of steam, I think, because I think it's pretty good into the aggressive decks, like the Joltik Box and the Raging Bolt. And in theory, the Charizard makes your Gardevoir matchup a lot better since you have a Pokemon that's not weak to Clefairy, and then like you can just take out Gardevoirs. So this is a deck to keep your eye on, I think, as we head into NAIC. I definitely think it's a deck picking up a lot of hype.
It's very real. I mean, I played against it a lot. It's very, very real. And I want to shout out Jay as well. I shout out Jackson because he followed up. He texted me. He's like, yo, those life cards are pretty sick. He's like, what was your best pull? And he's like asking for pictures of my best pull of those cards we shouted out last week. So he's truly a real one. And I think his deck's actually going to make a lot of waves at NAIC. But we'll tap into that as soon as we see some of these results.
Yeah. So, yes, when you were talking about the donk decks, have you seen that All Out Blitzel donk deck? I was like looking at it
I have, yeah.
The other day.
If you're a real fan, you know there's no spaces in All Out Blitzel. Come on, man.
Oh, my bad.
Not a real fan.
Where does he post it on Twitter?
It might have been in a reply or something. Good luck finding it. I have no idea how you're gonna find this.
Apparently, Henry Chow gave him $20 for doing something. Nice, I like it.
Pretty good.
Here's the new and improved Donk 60 for anyone trying to grind Arceus quickly. Okay, 4 Rockets Bomb, 4 Delivery Drone. What did Delivery Drone do again? Flip 2 coins. I can't read it.
I have no idea what that says.
Alright, let's look up what Delivery Drone does. Alright, Delivery Drone. If both of them are heads, search your deck for a card, put it into your hand. Okay.
Beautiful.
And we have Volcanion for some poison, 4 Pokeballs. I mean, yeah. This seems
you can burn and poison. You triple Val, and you just go in with a Pekkaron. I mean, and you got the bombs. Holy, we're putting in work.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot.
And then, let's see. How long did it say it took him? 2 hours, 20 minutes. Ultra Ball. That's Ultra Ball. Okay, but 4 hours to get the Arceus League, and I have to play that deck?
Yeah, that's a lot of time to play that garbage. Yeah.
Like, bro.
I feel that. I don't really want to play that.
Right? Like, just put my account in Arceus for me, man. Like,
okay, here's the thing. Here's my thing. Let me spit some real for a sec. If everybody is trying to get to Arceus tier, that means you are going to hit good players on your way up. And so my opinion is that you should play your way up because you're going to hit good players eventually, and you should test your deck while you're wasting 4 hours of your life. That's just my opinion.
I guess. I just find live is like such an inefficient way for me to test. I can't remember the last time I sat down and played ladder games on live. Like,
oh, really?
I only have an account for when like I do teaching, because I use simulators when I teach, but sometimes people want to use live, so I'm like, okay, I'll use it. So I have an account for that, but I never play ladder like ever. Or if I'm filming a YouTube video,
I only play like the week before. Yeah, you play like a week before the tournament, and then that's when you know all the real ones are online. And I actually find some good quality opponents on there.
I just play against myself in the sim. That's like my way of testing. Like, it's the fastest way to do it. Or if I play with someone, I play in the sim as well.
Well, perfect example. I hit Azul while I was at like 100 elo.
Yeah, but he's playing poison.
Yeah, but I mean, this dude, he plays this for a living. So I mean, true. Like, I think you can be low elo, and as long as you have a good win rate, you still hit some high elo guys. Like, I find that I hit actually some really decent players on there.
Oh, I feel like my win rate's super low because I just like scoop all the time. Or like if I play someone who's like not playing a real deck, like I don't want to waste my time. I'm just like, all right, next.
Oh, bro, that's the other thing. I never scoop. Like, I'm playing it out. I don't care.
No. I value my time too much, bro.
Especially if I hit a Griefer, like some guy is taking like a minute on each action, I make it my point to make sure that guy goes home with an L. I'm like, I'm gonna teach you a lesson today, old man. I don't care if it takes me half an hour. I'll do something in the background, but I need to make sure I teach that guy a lesson.
Nice. I mean, respect. You're doing good work there. So
gotta grind it out.
And also, all of Blitzel's doing good work here too.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's playing Raging Bolt in his online tournaments, not the Poison Donk deck. Nice.
All right, let's hop into these new results. I want to talk about these. I'm excited.
Yeah, so we've had a couple online tournaments since Destined Rivals has dropped on live. Nothing too big. There was also a full grip tournament, which we can go through a little bit as well. So I guess the biggest one would be probably Tournament of Doom. That Lubui won with.
Shout out Lubui for real.
Oh, he won with Pengo.
Pengo.
Nice. Pengo. I mean, it looks like pretty standard Pengo.
I'm really happy this cup popped up first, so I want to talk about this real quick. This deck has been gaining a lot of steam. And yeah, Rocket Mewtwo as well. Not as bad as I thought. This deck is one of the things I didn't really realize, and this is my own personal player diff and attention diff, I would say, is that the Articuno is disgusting. I didn't really like realize this before actually playing against it. This card is nasty, bro. And you combine the Articuno with the Mimikyu, and I found the only issue with this deck so far through this testing. I sat down with my boy last night for 2 hours at our local place, and we were playing this deck. The only issue with this deck so far has been this draw power. Because you have to have all the Rockets Pokemon on the board, you can't have any like support mons to draw cards. And that's been like the biggest issue so far I found with it. But honestly, the power level of the deck, very, very high. I know the Mewtwo caps out at 280. And I understand like there's some other issues with the deck, but it is really, really good. Just hitting Spite Ops and just spamming. This deck is real, and I actually think someone might break it going into NAIC.
I don't know. I haven't been that impressed with it, but I could see that Spite Ops, like, it hits Grimmsnarl for weakness. I'd be a bit concerned if like they just don't put Grimmsnarl in play. You're going to lose a Devo, and then Mewtwo's weak to Dark. But I agree with you that like the Articuno is very strong. I mean, the Mimikyu can copy some stuff. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if its draw engine is good enough, like where like you're just relying solely on the supporters.
That's the problem.
Yeah, it'd be cool if Mewtwo
but I
was
think,
good. But
I think pound for pound, you can compete with just about anything. I think your deck is good enough that you have a lot of tricks up your sleeve here that you can compete with just about everything. Because your Articuno and your Mimikyu help a lot to Dragapult. Also, I mean, like Gardevoir is an obvious problem, but maybe you can just sustain a one prize board state and just go crazy with Spite Ops. I don't really know. But like, it seems like you can compete pound for pound with just about anything. And I've seen a few lists come up. I know Tord is cooking this. Don't be surprised. I'm just going to say this. Don't be surprised if you see one do well at NAIC. I'm not going to say it will, but don't be surprised if you see one.
Yeah, fair enough. Lots of Joltik box doing well. I mean, Grimmsnarl is like this deck's best matchup, so Grimmsnarl is pretty popular, so I'm not surprised to see Joltik box doing well. I think it still has its issues into like the Gardevoirs and the Dragapults. But I'm not surprised to see it doing well. I mean, like, Eevee's another good deck, I think. One Grimmsnarl here doing well. Let's see what they built. Pretty standard, nothing crazy here. And this might even be just the Japanese list that did well. Yeah, so I think if we look at like a whole, like how this format's shaping out, I mean, Grimmsnarl is probably the most popular deck online because it's the newest one. It's also my favorite deck. I just love playing Frostlass, so like I've been really enjoying Grimmsnarl. I mean, like, its matchups don't surprise me. Like, you do destroy Gardevoir. You are strong into Dragapult. Apparently, people are losing to Straight Pult. I don't know how that's happening. But, because I find...
That shouldn't be happening.
Because I find the Duststorm matchup is actually harder. It's still fine. But this, yeah, 75%. But this is just Straight Pult diff, I guess. Straight Pult always has good win rates.
Yeah.
Oh, Dengo negative win rate? I disagree with that. I don't know.
But you also have to keep in mind what this is, right? This is online.
No, I know. It's small results, small sample size.
Yeah.
Bolt is a little bit of a shaky matchup, I do think, for the deck. Like, you destroy, I think, the evolving decks, and then, like, you're shaky into, like, the aggro decks. Flareon can also be, or, like, Eevee Box can be difficult if they play the Leafeon as well. But, I mean, you can still knock out their Leafeon, like, afterwards by just, like, moving damage. But, like,
I've played that matchup probably, like, 50 times now, I think, and it is very much just what you're saying. Like, just knock out the Leafeon, and like that's like the pivotal turn. If they get it, you're gonna get destroyed as a Grimmsnarl player. If they don't get it, you're probably gonna win.
Yeah. So yeah, this is, I think, the deck heading into NAIC that's probably gonna shake up the meta the most. I mean, if NAIC was tomorrow, I would probably play this deck. I really like playing it, and I think people are still learning how to play it. So
yeah, there's a lot of hate going around for this deck right now, and that is one point of concern, at least for me. I'm not considering playing this for NAIC, just full disclosure, but a couple close friends of mine are. Like, I mean, you included, you're going to play this. There's something going around that says, hey, I need to beat Grimmsnarl, and I don't like that. So just keep an eye out for random like leaves and stuff. And I still think the deck is good enough to obviously overcome that, but there is definitely an agenda.
I think so. I think my opinion is like it's kind of hard to tech for Grimmsnarl. Like, there's not that many good techs that directly counter it. It's like you can play leaves, but like not that many decks can play leaves. Like Joltik Box like naturally can play it, right? So like that makes sense. Like Eevee can
play leaves, and even then, like Grimmsnarl can deal with leaves, right?
Yeah, because it hasn't.
It's not game over.
Yeah, exactly. I still think Joltik is probably the deck's worst matchup from my testing. But like stuff like Gardevoir, like there's not really an easy tech you can put in. Like I've tried cooking a bit on my Gardevoir. I have like a Gardevoir list with a Grimmsnarl tech that it's kind of cheesy. I don't know if it works. Dragapult, it's really hard to put a tech. Like, I don't know, like what, you play like Picnic Basket or something? It's like, I guess, I don't know. Like, I don't think there's like a direct tech you can play. Like, you have to have a deck that like can already play like grass Pokemon, I think is like the tech.
Yeah.
Or is just like aggressive naturally into Grimmsnarl. The other deck that I hope is good. I mean, I've talked about it a little bit is the Ethan's Typhlosion.
Yep.
I mean, there's some results here. People are doing okay. Someone got second at the Pumpka Amy event. Let's see what they're
I do
playing.
want to talk about this deck too.
They were playing the Pidgeot version.
Yeah.
So I think this is kind of cool too.
Yeah, it's this is one of the decks, and I might get in trouble by a lot of people for this episode because I'm leaking everything that they've told me in my life. But this is a deck that's been on the high radar of a couple people that I know that have actually got quite a resume, and I think this deck is really good just because of the idea that you're up trading to everything. This whole Pidgeot thing, I don't hate it, I don't love it. Like we've been playing it with a couple other partners, and they felt a little bit better than Pidgeot, but it definitely needs a partner of some sort. And like the Pidgeot helps you kind of pick out the secret box when you get the 3 Kalavas in play.
Mm-hmm.
This deck is legit. My only worry with this deck is how sometimes it takes you up to turn 3 to attack if you don't go second with Evo, and that kind of puts you behind a little bit. But this deck is legit, and I think if you guys are preparing for NAIC, this is definitely something you want to look out for. I wouldn't expect to play any, not as of right now, just because of it's not super popular online, but this deck could switch in a moment's time. And I think if someone breaks this might be a real problem because you're hitting 280 for 1 energy on a 1 prizer. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah. It, like you said, like just like trading a 1 prizer for 2 prizes is really good. And I think Pidgeot's probably a bit better in this format. Like it seems like Badoo is a little less played right now. It's a little easier to get out. So I mean, I haven't played this specific version of Typhlosion yet. I was trying the Dragapult Typhlosion, and that felt okay. And I've tried straight Typhlosion to Dunsparce. But yeah, this actually seems pretty cool. I'll have to give this one a try. And I actually like
very impressed
that you can get Gravity Mountain with the Pidgeot. That's actually a very good combo. All right, I'll have to give this a try. Maybe, I feel like this deck might want to play a Defiance Band too, maybe? I don't know.
Or Vitality, like anything that kind of puts you to 290. I like the Vitality a lot just because you can... I played a build with double Grav. You just play the Vitality with the Arvins, and you grab the Grav whenever you need to, and it's just a one-shot.
Well, I guess they have Victini. That's kind of how you're supposed to do it, I guess. So
yeah.
Okay.
The one I had played both.
Interesting. Triple Evo, I like that. I mean, I just hate that you have to play this card. This card's so bad. The redeemable ticket. Yeah.
You don't really have a choice, though.
No, I know. I don't know. And then, bro, like, I hate that, like, in the middle of the game, you have to, like, prize check it again. Like...
I know. I kind of like redeemable ticket. You ever seen that scam call with the guy who says, "Why did you redeem it? Why did you redeem it?"
I see that one.
That's why I love redeemable ticket. That's the only reason. Classic call. If you guys have never seen that, just type in "Why did you redeem it?" prank call on Google. It is legendary.
Yeah. Cool. So that's cool. How else have people been playing it here? We got I got this. Oh, with Charizard. Interesting. Yeah, I think my takeaway is like Typhlosion is not good enough on its own. Like it needs a partner to go with it. Like you need the Pidgeot, you need the Charizard, you need the Golden Go, you need the Dragapult, something to help it have a little more firepower. Yeah. Or like as you get to the late game, because Typhlosion like is normally not enough.
I don't love this build either because they only have the 2 Kolava. That feels not great because you need the Kolava spam just to get your Ethans down, right?
I guess, but maybe you can do it over 2 turns. Like they're trying to use Charizard more, I guess.
I guess. I don't know.
And then I think
it doesn't seem like the best build.
Max Belt's like another interesting A-spec you can play in this deck to help Typhlosion reach the numbers you need to reach. Because I guess in a deck like this where you can't easily get a Gravity Mountain, this helps push you over the edge. So yeah,
I just don't love Max Belt here because you're a 1 prizer that's kind of squishy. So you're not getting a crazy amount of value out of this Max Belt. You'll trade up once, and then you got to figure out how you're going to do it the rest of the game. Like I kind of like the whole Gravity Mountain approach better because that's at least sustainable.
Well, I guess the idea with this build is you just lead with Typhlosion, and then like in the late game you have Charizard and you don't really need it anymore, I guess is the idea. And there's also Defiance Band, so like maybe you go like pick off a big 2 prizer, counter catcher like Fez or something, and then Charizard. I guess
yeah, I suppose.
Is the vision I think for this deck. So
I can't argue with the results, man. This person was what 5-1. Okay, all right, I'll let him cook. I'll let him cook.
Yeah. Oof. The Grimstone matchup doesn't look good. I'm not surprised because like you're gonna get Devo to just snipe to death. But
yeah.
I feel like this is an archetype that if someone's been cooking, like I wouldn't be shocked if I see one like get top 16 at NAIC or something.
Hell yeah.
Like this is the type of thing where it's like if someone cracks Typhlosion, they do well at NAIC, all of a sudden Typhlosion's like a meta deck, similar to like Regidrago last year. I know Regidrago got buffed in like whatever the set was called, but like even Shrouded Fable, but even before Shrouded Fable, people just started playing Regidrago, right? So
I'll say this: I've tried almost. Yeah, I've tried all the new decks at this point, and like I'm actually like crazy locked in right now. I know I don't care about Pokemon most of the time, and that's like my MO, but right now I'm crazy locked in, and I've tried all the new decks. This is by far, in my opinion, the best one. The only one I think that comes close is Mewtwo. But if you want to play a new deck, and a lot of people do like this whole concept at NAIC, like they love to play the new decks, I do think Ethan's Typhlosion should be the number one choice. If you're not including Grimmsnarl.
Yeah, okay, I was gonna say, I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, Grimmsnarl is definitely the best one. But I'm not really including that because like Frostlass was already a thing. I don't know. In my brain, they're separate things. But
okay,
you know what I mean.
yeah. The other deck that I want to see if it has a splash is the Cynthia's Garchomp. I think we've kind of talked a little bit about some of the issues we think it has, but I still think it
Yeah.
does have. I've played against it a little bit. It was like okay. I find it struggles with disruption at the end of the game, like chaining together stuff, because you can corkscrew drive, but if you get Ionode, you don't get to keep the cards or stamped. And then the other problem with it is just like the attachments. It's like yeah, you have to play Power Glass, but if your Garchomp goes down, then like the next one's normally not ready. But it does feel like, I think I said this when we were looking at the cards, like it's like one card away from like being something. Because the Gabite is crazy. You go like one Gabite, and then your board all of a sudden has like 3, and then like you have your Roserades. It's very easy to set this deck up, which I really like.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you
I've
messed
tested
around with
this extensively,
Oh, you
man.
have? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah. This was the first deck I picked up. I was very disappointed and underwhelmed by its power level. It does seem really, really good. I think the biggest issue is one you touched on. It's like the energy attachments. If there was a reliable way to keep hitting 260 and with the Roserades rating 290, 320, it always just feels like your deck is kind of one. Obviously, you're one attacker off, but you're also one card off in your hand. Like it's really difficult to maintain hitting big damage and also keep drawing through your deck just because of the
Yeah.
nature of what the deck is and the lack of draw support that you do have. So this is something that I agree with you, man. This was like I would love for this to break. I would love for someone to break this. Just because like Cynthia's Garchomp has such a special place in our hearts as old players, right? I think we would all love for this to be good, but it doesn't seem like it's too great on the way in yet.
Yeah, agreed. But eventually it may be. It'll get good. Are there any other new-ish decks that are coming out this set?
Ho-Oh, that's another one I'd like to touch on real quick.
I don't know if there's any results for it here. Do you have? I think I saw someone post a list. I'm trying to. Do you know where it would be?
There's lists like everywhere. It might be under other, man. It might be really hard to find. Which seems like a really disrespectful place to put it. Oh,
Bro,
yes.
I was thinking about this because Yanmega hits Grimmsnarl for weakness. So you could Yanmega and then beat Grimmsnarl.
I was talking about this on Shift Gear last week, bro. I was like super Yanmega heavy. I will say, you are right. It does hit it for weakness, but I will say you don't do much else. That is the only issue.
Well, I saw people play, or someone sent me a list. There was a Japanese list with Vespiquen.
Yes.
EX. Because then you can play Clefairy in your deck and you can knock out your Dragapult. And then, like if you play Hawlucha or something, you can use the effect of Phantom Queen. I don't know how good this is, but it's a grass type or it's a grass attacker that's a psychic type. So I don't know how you beat Gardevoir, but you can probably beat Grimmsnarl and Dragapult if you play this, which is a good starting point.
Yeah, I think it needs a little bit more time. I think NAIC is a little too close. Like, we're not even close to a broken list yet, I don't think. Like I've tried a couple and I haven't been particularly impressed with anything yet. But yeah, Yanmega is definitely a card.
Yeah, what else can I try and find here? Another Yanmega deck, okay. Oh, okay, here, I think I found a Ho deck.
There you go.
Yeah, like I've seen people playing like iterations of this. And the people I've talked to who have tried it, they basically just told me like it's really bricky or like inconsistent. Because you're playing like a million different things. You have to get Armourouge going. You have no way to draw the Legacy right away. But it seems cool.
Yeah. This is another deck that, shocker, I've tried. And it has felt exactly that. Feels like it's very bricky. The games where you get Ho 2 energies down, you're like on cloud 9. You're like, yo, we're so back. But then there's so many times that your deck is just a pile. And I think that's the issue with it. There was a streamlined version that I saw recently without Area 0 that just kind of focused more on just getting your board set up. And I think that's the correct way to play it. Like this is nice to have all these different attackers, but there's a little bit too much going on right now. And the Durant is really, really good in a Grimmsnarl. And like every attacker here, I think has its own merit. But I found it really tough to even get set up.
Yeah, I almost wonder if like you build this kind of like how Cloth is built, where you play Precious Trolley or something.
Yeah,
and like have more support Pokemon or something, or like a draw Pokemon.
That could work.
Or maybe you play like Cloak or something, play Tianivo, and then you make a Cloak and Armourouge, and then you have some draw.
Well, the problem is with this is like you need the energies. The energies are so substantial to your game plan, and like if you're precious trolleying, you're not researching and trying to like greed into like the Ho-Oh +2, right?
Yeah,
that is the issue.
So. Yeah, I guess this deck is probably just needs something better. Someone's playing the Donk deck in tournaments. They went 4-1. Nice, respect. Anything else cooking? A lot of Yon Mega did unsparse decks.
People like Yon Mega, bro.
Poltegeist. Nisha. Nice.
It's so funny how like you know what grass is right now? Grass is like what fighting used to be, where everything's like weak to it, and all the attackers suck. So people just put together like fighting boxes to beat like Darkrai's and Eels back in the day. That's exactly what is going on right now.
Yeah. So, well, I mean that's kind of like the online results. I think maybe we can jump to the full grip tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, like this, like you have to take it with a grain of salt since it's not like a crazy amount of people, and like it's just like kind of like a League Cup almost. But full grip, they'd always have a tournament. The like right when a set comes out, before it's like legal, but then everyone can play with the cards. And this was the top 8. Gotta give a shout out to Devin. That's back-to-back top cuts. He's a senior division player, and he's dominating with all the masters. So shout out Devin.
For real.
So the top cut was Zard, Bolt. There was a Grimmsnarl, a Zard, Terrabox, 2 Guardies, and Grimmsnarl ended up taking it down. And there's some good players here too at this tournament. Like I said, like Devin's a very accomplished senior. Like Grant Manley was there. Sure, a lot of these players are like day 2 level players or world level players. So yeah, 8 rounds too. So kind of interesting just to see like one tournament. But it's like kind of like if I just like picked a random League Cup and said let's analyze this. But when we don't have much to go off of, it's kind of a good start, right? So.
No, I think there's some merit to this. I definitely think there's some merit to this, and like obviously it was like kind of day 1-ish, so people didn't have all the cards and stuff, and I think that's also kind of part of this whole thing. But I'm not surprised those results, to be honest. I think Bolt in the right hands is one of the strongest decks in the format, like no doubt about it. And it's not like as like glue-y as it used to be. Like it used to just be like there's a lot of skill in it now, I think. And I do think also there's probably some lack of access to Grimmsnarls at this point when this tournament happened. Which I definitely think would contribute a little bit to this, but Bolt doesn't surprise me. 3 Bolts in there. Zard Pult. I'm surprised to see no straight Pult, but that's the only takeaway for me from that.
Yeah, I mean, I think straight Pult's like in a weirder place in the meta now that Grimmsnarl is there. It's like it just feels like that's another matchup where like you like having the Dusknoirs a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
So like maybe I don't know, and like maybe if like Dragapult Dusknoir goes down and play a little bit, like maybe straight Pult has less good matchups. We have to see, but like I don't know, like you're still good into probably like the Zard gets popular again.
It pains me terribly to say this, but I do think Pult Ghosts is the right way to play the game right now, or the right way to play the deck. And I played Pult Bats yesterday.
That
was
deck,
fun.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun, but the deck doesn't really work half the time. That's the only problem.
Let me see if I can find one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like here we go.
There you go.
Like it's basically like just playing Dusknoir Pult, but like you just play Crobat instead. So you have like less damage, but you get to not knock yourself out. Oh,
it
cool.
felt better to me than Dusk Ghosts. Like I shouldn't say that. The deck is definitely worse, but the partner Pokemon felt better, if that makes any sense. Just because like you have the ability to basically knock out anything you want on your opponent's bench, and the Crobat's ability is actually really, really strong. So you're able to like sometimes you're able to just kill Pokemon with these alone. You don't even need the Phantom Dive damage. So it was really nice. Like when I was playing against like Mewtwo and stuff on the ladder, like it did feel pretty good. And the attack as well is not too bad if you play the Rocket's Energy.
You can play 1 Rocket's Energy. And I think I mentioned this on the podcast. I thought it was like put all the cards back in your hand. It's like only put Crobat. You discard the Rocket's Energy.
So it's like the Crobat, the Zubat, and the Golbat.
I think it's just the Crobat, if I'm reading this correctly, because it would say put this Pokemon, all cards attached into it, right?
No, I think attached cards are a different thing.
One of your Pokemon. Okay,
I'm pretty sure the whole line comes back.
You're right. Okay, I think it does. Okay. I think, yeah.
Yeah, that would be so bad.
I guess I didn't realize they changed the wording to like be like that. But yeah, so you at least you get the whole line back.
Yeah, this deck has legs. I definitely think I would look at this for NAIC if I was playing straight Pult, which I might still be. I don't know. This is definitely something I will be exploring. I don't know because it takes away some of like your good support cards, enable like to be able to even fit this in.
Yeah.
But it's certainly good, and it helps with some of the issues that Paul has, like being able to reach numbers on the bench and stuff, and keeping up with prize trades.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. When you play like Crobat or you play Dusknoir, like you get more power than the straight pull deck, but your deck is less consistent than the straight pull deck, right? So it's like that's the trade off you're basically making. And like
also don't agree with the scoop up Cyclone.
Oh yeah, to do Crobat, yeah, you need Stamp. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Stamp is broken. Play Stamp. Very good card.
Everybody plays Stamp.
I think in the full grip tournament, like I think they retweeted some people who posted our list. Let's see if we have any, if I can see the champion list. Top 8 with Gardevoir. Anything interesting here? No, just like Shaman. Yeah, I think Gardevoir like is one of the decks that can easily play Shaman because it plays Nest Ball and it plays Artisan. I think if you're playing, I've come to the conclusion if you're playing Dragapult and you don't play Grox, like I actually think you probably shouldn't play Shaman maybe, or you're not playing Nest Ball. Like it's a lot harder to get it out. Maybe if you're in juniors, that's different because Raging Bolt is like 25%. But yeah, for Masters, I don't know if you need it.
I would be very hard pressed to play Pult without Shaman if there's a bunch of Bolt running around. But I agree with you. I think I'd be cheating on Shaman too if I had the opportunity to.
This is the guy who got second. Anything crazy going on here? Looks like a pretty standard Bolt list. There's Slitherwing and Crydon. Interesting. Otherwise,
no chances.
Kind of what we've been seeing. And that looks like all the ones I can see basically by looking at their Twitter.
That is the good thing too about Bolt, is you don't really have to worry about Joltik Box too much, right?
Oh yeah,
you have those fighting attackers.
It's the freest matchup ever, yeah.
Yeah, which is really, really nice. And there's also no, oh no, there is a Baby Bolt there. Sorry, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I think the deck is actually in a really good spot.
Yeah, I think so too.
I've never said this about Bolt before, but I think it's like it's in a place where in the hands of a skilled player, you can outskill your way through any matchup basically at this point. So I really like it.
I think the nice thing for Bolt is it basically has viable single prize attackers. I think that to me is what switched it from like the old version of playing the deck, and the format's slower.
The other thing is too, like especially for this tournament, this NAIC tournament, it's do or die for so many players.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people kind of like, hey, I need to make like the safe choice, and like for those people, you shouldn't play a super like brain intensive deck, but you want to play something that has enough skill expression that you can kind of skill your way through, right? Where in like pressure situations, obviously you might play a little bit worse or whatever kind of player you are. I think this deck is like a perfect balance of those two things. I think it's like a perfect balance of like, hey, I can turn my brain off sometimes and just win games. And also there is a ceiling high enough that I will not be losing to somebody who has just started playing the game.
Yeah, it's like exactly like before Bolt was like the default easy deck, and like now with the Noctowl, since you basically play with your deck face up, it's like a lot trickier to like manage your resources. It's not just like go shoo, Pokestop, whatever. Like the main strategy is still extremely simple, but like how you get there and navigate your prize maps is actually a lot more difficult, which I think is great. Honestly, that the aggro deck in the format, or one of them is like has that layer of depth. Like we still have Joltik Box, which is like the default like like just Joltik and attack deck. But no, Raging Bolt is definitely like way cooler now. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Cool. Were there any other new-ish decks, Aneil, you wanted me to like take a look at or discuss with us?
Not off the top of my head. Yeah, no, I think that was basically it. I think we kind of touched on most of it. We're gonna do like a more in-depth like an NAIC preview next week, but I think we have some good like introductory level data here.
Yep.
Off the top of my head, the two things I'm most intrigued in right now are Typhlosion and Mewtwo. I think those are decks that definitely are on the cusp of getting something. And I don't really know about the next set and if they gain anything or whatever, but these are cards that I would probably go out and buy right now, just to be safe. And I do think that NAIC every single year changes the entire outlook of the meta the way we thought we knew it. And then going into Worlds, there's always like a different meta. So I do think these decks are very, very close.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm excited. I think the game has felt really fun lately. Like all the decks are pretty cool. There's a lot of depth to the game. I think it's the best it's been in a while. And yeah, I think Badoo is like less of a card as it has been like in the last format. So I think that's something a lot of people will be excited about as well. It's still obviously very good, but like not as game breaking as it has been. So no, I'm really looking forward to this format.
It's a lot of fun. Like I'm passionate right now, and I'm never passionate. Like this deck, this format's a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun just looking at these new cards, and I think like the whole like trainers cards have been really refreshing for us. Like I think we were kind of in a lull for a little while, so really exciting. There's a lot of different mechanics in the game right now. Is one thing that I've noticed. Like there's a lot of different decks that do different things, and it's not just like hitting for crazy numbers like we had during the V-Star era. And like stuff is happening, and I'm really excited. And I hope you guys are as excited for NAIC as we are, because this is gonna be one for the books.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Yeah, I'm excited too. Next week I'm playing in this invitational tournament with everyone around the world. So stick around, because I'm gonna interview Hunter Butler, who's organizing it in this episode. You guys get a little bonus guest. So yeah, I'm excited for that. And then yeah, NAIC should just be fun, man. Like, it's gonna be the biggest tournament ever outside of Europe, or it's not Europe, sorry, outside of Asia. Like, I think we're on pace for like over 4,000 masters, which is gonna be crazy. So
yeah, bring your dry fits. I've heard New Orleans is very hot and humid.
Oh my god, bro, it's the worst, the heat there. Like, it's like 40 degrees Celsius and like humid every day, so it's even worse. Like, you step outside your hotel or the convention center, like within 3 seconds you're drenched. Like,
dude, like that, it's crazy. Like, normally people over exaggerate with Pokemon stuff, right? They're like, oh, this is not, like, everybody I've talked to has said the exact same thing. I've never been to New Orleans. So everyone is saying, like, yo, bring dry fits. Like, I might walk around with a towel, dog. I don't want to be nasty in the venue. Like, we'll see what happens. But
yes, I hope
sounds
all
so
Pokemon
scary.
players practice good hygiene. They have their deodorant with them, take showers regularly.
That's gone over well in the past. Yeah, I'm sure that won't be an issue.
Yeah, so I mean, I love the food in New Orleans. That's really good. It's extremely unhealthy. Every time I take a bite, I'm like, what am I doing to my health here? But
my poor Canadian body.
Yeah, but the heat, man, is, oh my god, it's so bad.
So. I'm not excited. I am very excited for Bourbon Street, and I have been contacting people about the bar crawl that will be ensuing on Friday and Saturday night.
You guys gotta sign up for Aneil's bar crawl.
Yeah, you gotta sign. I actually got so many people messaging me after last week and be like, yo, where are we going? So I guess I started as a meme, but I might have to actually carry through with it. All right, so we gotta turn the page here. We gotta go into the Shill Gear podcast, as I like to call it now, as Kieran loves to shill his stuff. So please go ahead and take your moment, sir.
Oh yeah, I'm running. Hey, I waited till the end today, Neil, to do my shilling.
Very appreciated.
I'm hosting a Grimmsnarl class this Saturday, if you guys want to come. I've played, I'm not exaggerating, probably like 100 games with the deck. It's my favorite deck. Like, I used to love playing Frostlass Monkey too. So you guys just want to see like my list, and more so I think the valuable stuff would be how I approach the matchups and all that. Feel free to sign up. There's a recording if you can't make it. And then other than that, no, I think I can just jump to talking about the tournament with Hunter after this segment. And anything else you want to talk about?
Good. No, there's only 70 tickets left. Y'all better get it fast.
I know, bro. 30 gone already.
You guys should use code Ogremon for no reason. You're not going to save any money, but some guy at Metafy, but what the hell is going on?
Right, bro. Should I put an Ogremon code for the class?
You should put an Ogremon code for like 1% off just to see what happens.
All right, maybe I'll do that. Use code Ogremon.
Just to see who listens. Yeah, use code Ogremon. I will shill both of us then. Endgame Genesis, they're pretty sick.
Right. Yes.
Go get some down below. Use code whatever. What's our code? Shift Gear. Yeah, use code Shift Gear. Grab some endgames. They're deeper. The sides are nicer. I am approving of this message, and the ones that are coming in 2 weeks, I have been promoting forever because they're like my favorite sleeves ever.
Yes,
so
they're very good.
Yeah, keep your calendars open. I have a really stupid commercial idea that I want to carry out soon, so there might be a funny commercial coming near you.
Yeah, so you can get they're called Endgame Genesis, are the new ones. The old ones, they still have a couple left. You can get them for $8 US on sale, and they're still really quality. Those are the ones I've been using all season. So,
what's the plural of Genesis? Is it genocide?
I have no idea.
Go get your genocide today.
What?
I used to call when I had Arceus, I used to call them Archei, like when there's plurals of them.
It's just Genesis.
Shout out Genesis Pabuna for real.
Yeah, shout out Buna.
That's the dog. All right, we've hit our limit. Enough yapping for today. We will carry it over next week. Kieran's going to input the segment with Hunter after this, so stick around to watch that. But we appreciate all y'all. Thank you for being here with us at the Shill Gear podcast. I apologize. And we'll be back next week with an NAIC preview.
All right,
Peace.
Later, guys. All right, what's going on, guys? I'm here with Hunter Butler. We have the bonus segment on the Shift Gear podcast this week. And Hunter's going to talk about a really cool initiative he's been putting together, one that I'm going to be involved with, which I'm really excited as like a player. So Hunter, do you want to kind of like really introduce yourself first, who you are, for anyone who's not familiar with you, and then maybe we can get into talking about this event that you're running.
Appreciate it, Kieran for having me on. My name's Hunter Butler. I've been playing the game for almost 20 years. I'm a regional champion. I have been invited to Worlds several times and invited to Worlds on the second day of competition. I am currently competing for a Worlds invite this year. I'm on the bottom half of the list. I'm like 140 or something, so hoping to sneak in. And the event that Kieran is talking about is the Masters Cup, which is something I've been planning for a little over a year. Had some changes through sponsors and ideas and kind of how it all came together. So it's been a wild roller coaster, but yeah, very excited to be putting this on for the community and for an interesting event for kind of the best players in the world to be a part of.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, yeah, why don't you kind of like give a rough rundown of like what the event actually is, maybe what inspired it, and yeah, what you're hoping to achieve with it.
Okay, so I'll start where it came to kind of becoming real more than an idea. So I was sponsored by DDG and was a part of that team with Andrew Hedrick and everybody. And sponsored teams kind of have a hard time monetizing something, right? Most of the time, I don't know how many sponsored teams you've been on. I've been on a couple of them, and it seems to be that at some point, there doesn't seem to be anything for the sponsor to gain out of the sponsorship, right? You're just helping a player out, get to more events, and then either growing social media or growing a store, depending on what the sponsorship's coming from. So my idea was, not only did I want something that actually made sense for our sponsor to be beneficial, but something that people actually wanted to see, which I guess where it started from. You play poker too, right? You play poker as well?
I really enjoy poker. Yeah, I play maybe like once or twice a year at a casino. I'm not like a hardcore player, but like, yeah, I really like it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I've been playing poker for a little while, and this is kind of like a mix up. So the Top Cut Invitational was an event that used to be held that was basically a 10 to 12 person tournament where they would take several players from internationally, right? When we didn't have internationals, everybody had their own little nationals or stuff like that to go to Worlds. And they would invite these superstar players and allow them to mix it up. The reason I bring up poker is because poker actually is like a very, very boring game to be streamed if you are not familiar with how to play. And I know a lot of people watching Pokemon TCG will also say, hey, if I don't know what's going on, this is very boring to watch, right? So what poker did, much like the Top Gun Invitational, is they would take these high-powered businessmen or large pro players or new up and coming players, and they would stick them on a stream around the tournament, right? So there would be this big poker tournament. And then after the tournament, there would be these cash games that they would basically stream of some of the best players and some of the wealthiest players, mixing it up on camera, right? And these streams actually did way better in terms of viewership, more than the actual tournament, which is weird when you think about, if we were to compare it to Pokemon, right? You wouldn't think that some ragtag group of 20 players mixing it up in a tournament would get more views than the World Championship. Well, poker didn't think that either, except that the WSOP, which is the World Series of Poker, was getting less views than these big streamed cash games. So I think at the start of it, it was about, the idea of not only are we a super multinational game now with everyone around the world playing the game, which, when we're looking at 2014 here, they were doing it. I think they did it 2012 through 2014 was when about 3 years. We barely had a multinational game. Worlds was basically the only tournament. So now that we have these internationals and we have online tournaments where people are mixing it up from around the world every weekend, every week, sometimes with some of these big online tournaments, right? Like the late nights and stuff. So the game has kind of grown to this place where everyone around the world is enjoying it. And I feel like from a competitor standpoint, for me, what makes the stream interesting and what Pokemon tries to do on these streams is to get the best match every round, right? With the voting, right? When they go on Twitter, hey, vote between these 4 matches. Who do you want to see play, right? We're trying to create, or Pokemon is trying to create storylines and characters and people to watch out for and to continually follow, right? Because if the game wants to grow, you have to be interested not only in just the cards, but you have to be interested in the players too. So the original amalgamation of all of this came from kind of from my belief, a demand of wanting to watch the best players in the game mix it up. Also to prove that other players from other countries are just as good as America. I know everyone on the US and Canada love to say that we have the best circuit, we have the best players, yada, yada, yada. Everyone rides for their own country. But I think having an event like this really gets to showcase who is the best, who does have the best players from each country that are playing at the top of their game. So that's kind of how the idea started. And it started with me kind of putting it all together and DDG kind of helping me back it. And then that obviously fell through. So now we've kind of moved and changed into something different. I was able to find a sponsor that was willing to help me out, kind of make my dreams come true, I guess, sort of say. So that's kind of how it started, from a business standpoint of what I think the community actually wants, and something that a sponsor can actually benefit from, and not just feel like, okay, I'm just giving money to someone because they're them.
I think that's cool. I mean, I think for me personally, like when the Top Cut Invitational was happening, I was like a teenager, like I was in seniors, and that was always a tournament like I looked forward to the most every year, because it was so cool to see people like Sugiyoshi Yamato, who's like almost like a mythical figure from Japan who we'd almost only see at Worlds, go up against someone like Jason Kladinsky or something, who's like America's or North America's best player. And even now when we have the internationals and like Worlds, like the tournaments are so large that it's very rare that like the best players clash. Like it's very rare that like Tord would go up against like Haruki or someone, right? Or even for myself, it's like I don't get the chance, even though I do well at a lot of these tournaments, like I don't that often get to play against a lot of the best players from across the world. There's so few opportunities for it to happen. So I think it's a really, really cool concept, and like kind of carrying the legacy forward of kind of what the Top Cut Invitational used to be. And I really hope it's a successful event, and I'm excited to be a part of it, and one, represent Canada, and then two, just get the chance to play with people from across the world. So why don't you maybe talk about the invitations, like maybe who's playing there, like how you decide which regions, or like how many invites to give out to each of the regions. So I'll just show the NA graphic because I'm on that one, then we can go through the rest of the regions. So
this is the NA graphic. First of all, I'll to kind of explain how we went with picking. To keep it quite frank, the first thing was I had to make sure these people were coming to NAIC, right? And they're going to be there to be early enough. So again, with the structure of the tournament and like the idea of putting it together, I knew that to make something like this happen, it had to be during an IC week, because of course I can't get, or I wouldn't expect players from Japan, players from South America to fly to America to come play in some tournament that's on some random week, right? So I had to make it feasible and make sense for some of these players to actually show up. So I went kind of, as far as like who I decided to pick for this first one, I went for a mix, or I tried to go for a mix of household names, up and comers, and then people who have had kind of an insane year. Like, so here we have, Andrew, who's been having a crazy last couple of years, right? Basically coming out of nowhere after COVID and then blowing up, and then a household name like Alex Szymanski and John Eng, who've been playing for a while. Ian doesn't really need much of a description. The third highest paid player of all time in the modern era, just a GOAT. And obviously Rowan, another up-and-coming player, is a world champion. A lot of people don't know that Rowan's a world champion, but he is a senior world champion. So, yeah, I wanted a mix of multinational talent mixed up with regional champions, world champions, IC champions. And then the goal is throughout these tournaments, because I'm not trying to just run one, that we'll be able to bring in old names and bring them back into the fray to mix up old and new. Like here, we have Jesper. Most people, I got a little bit of flack from like, why is Jesper being involved? Well, he's a world champion. Do you have a world champion trophy? I don't think so. So Jesper's the world champion. Stefan and Tord, obviously, they have don't need any introduction. They're insane players. Fabian is a good friend of mine. I think Fabian is actually a very underrated player. Extremely clean, plays a lot of innovative decks on his own, does not, follow the trend with deck building, does his own. And then obviously Andrej, I think, is also a slept on player, even though he is a world champion. I think a lot of people kind of underestimate how strong Andrej is a player, and I've played him several times, so I know his strength as a player.
Yeah, then we can go, what's the next one? We got Latte. I'm like, yeah, you just like look at all these things. Like one cool thing is you got Gabrielle playing with us too.
This one was a slam dunk. I was glad. Shout out to Pedro. Me and Pedro are good friends. And I had a lot of, at the end of this, I'm going to give a shout out to a lot of the people that helped make this happen. This is not just me. It's not a one-man job, but this was probably my favorite. I hate to be biased, but this is like my favorite lineup. I didn't explain this either as far as the format. So it's supposed to be 22 players one aging up senior and one aging up junior. The idea behind having the senior and the junior is in the game, we always have these age up players that everyone's like, what are they going to do? Are they going to be able to mix it up with the best? Are they going to succeed in masters? Are they going to succeed in seniors? So this is really just putting them to the test. And I think Gabriel might be the biggest test of all young players. Like, I want to see Gabriel like win this tournament. I would love to see him win this tournament. It would mean like so much to, I feel like, me and a lot of other players around the world, because he is just an absolute tournament killer. I mean, it's shocking the amount of finishes, and he won. I don't know if you know this. He won every regional in his region this year.
You know, like it reminds me of like high school LeBron, you know, where it's like everyone's talking about this kid, like he's probably the most hyped like senior player of all time, like moving to Masters.
You're not a fan, you're a hater. That's all I gotta say. If you're a hater, you're still adding to the publicity here. I mean, I'm a huge fan. I've watched a ton of his games. I played against his brother in Goiânia. Also a great player. So yeah, this lineup doesn't need much introduction. These are all smashes. I will take a second to talk about Nico though, because I think he is a slept on player. He's from Chile. He's been playing a long time. I played him in day 2 of Worlds in 2018 for our winning in to basically, if either of us win, then the next round we can win or tie into top 8 for Worlds. So he's a great opponent that I've had. I think he's an incredible player. He deserves love, and I wanted to include multiple countries, not just Brazil. You know, everybody I think when they think of LATAM, they think of basically just Brazil and then like sprinkles of other countries. So I wanted a good mix here with one from Argentina, one from Chile, one from Peru. So it felt like a good even mix to represent all countries in LATAM.
Yeah, and like speaking about seniors, do you remember the Kledinsky Open? This is like over 10 years ago, but there was like kind of like an open tournament where like Jason Kledinsky ran it, like 3-time world champion, where like seniors and juniors were allowed to play with the Masters if they wanted, and as a senior won the tournament. Actually, I think like 3 seniors made top cut or something. So it was kind of interesting if Gabriel could like take this one from us. So, and like you said, I'm kind of excited to see if he can do it.
Yeah, and I will say too, I have not released the junior. I'm going to release him last, but I'll go ahead and spoil it since it's on your extra episode. Jose Cruz is going to be our age junior. He's the #1 junior in the country right now. He has over 2,000 CP. He's been absolutely murdering it the last couple of years, and I really think not only does he want to push himself, because I've spoke to him and his dad, he wants to push himself to the next level. I really want to see how he does mixing it up with the master. So, you know, the idea of the 24 number is so that we have some good asymmetrical cut. We have the 5 rounds. We're not going too long or too short, right? 4 to 6 rounds. 4 rounds feels too short. 6 rounds feels too long. So the number is great, and it gives both a up and coming junior and upcoming senior to prove that, hey, I really not only am I one of the best in my division, but I'm one of the best in the world. Period.
Yeah. So I just pulled up his limitless. He has 9 regional IC top cuts this year, and he won on NAIC last year. So
he's a monster.
That's pretty cool. I think the last region we have is Asia, right? So then you have Japan, I guess.
Yep. Well, we have Australia after this. It has not been released.
Okay, it hasn't been released. Okay.
I will go ahead and say here, unfortunately, Daichi did have to pull out. He is no longer coming to NAIC. So it sucks that he's not going to be a part of it. I'm trying to find a replacement right now. It's pretty hard to replace Daichi. I'm going to try my best. However, we have 3 other incredible players, Yoshiyuki, Takuto, and Haruki, all incredible players. Haruki has actually had worldwide success. He's one of the Japanese players that has actually been traveling. And we could talk about this too. Like you mentioned, you know, we basically only saw Japanese players back in the day when me and you have been playing a long time at Worlds, right? And now with these cash tournaments in places like Australia, which are decently close for them, and then for people who have the means to be able to travel, they can go get cashes at, like you could see, he went all the way to Louisville to get a top 32 at the beginning of the season. So it's awesome to see not only Pokemon have these high cash tournaments and allow other players from other regions to go around and play. I know it's kind of a controversial thing where people are like, oh, well, if you're not from the, XYZ country, you shouldn't be able to go steal SPE points or regional points or whatever. But I totally disagree. I think if you have the means and you can go play in these events and mix it up with the best in the world, and you want to give your chance at winning, then you should do so. I don't think anyone should take that away from you if you're able to make it happen for yourself, whether that be financially or time off from work, whatever, to go play Pokemon. So Haruki, extremely consistent player. Yoshiyuki and Takuto. Takuto has some older results. He has a couple big Worlds placements. I don't think they're shown on Limitless, but he's been playing a long time. And Yoshiyuki, kind of an up-and-comer. He aged out of seniors, I believe, before Hawaii. Either Japan or Hawaii, he aged up out of seniors. So he's on the younger side. Really, really solid gameplay. I've watched a couple of his games in person, and my friend actually played him in Portland, got stomped. So had some gameplay recently, so really excited for this group. Like I said, I'm going to try to get a replacement for Daichi, even though there probably isn't one realistically, but sad to see that he can't play. And then, stay tuned for the Australian players that will come soon. And like I said, Jose will be announced shortly as our up and coming junior player.
Nice. So I mean, this is like a stacked cast. Like, if I'm being honest, when I look at this list, I'm probably the least accomplished person here. So I'm excited to be part of it. And
I disagree, Kieran. I think, and I'll give you your flowers, because like I said before, I think for Canada, you've been hyper consistent. You don't have a lot of a lot of top players have these stigmas of bad judge interactions. Some have cheating interactions. Some have slow playing interactions. Me personally, I've never heard anything about that about you. And I feel like, with the amount of finishes that you have and the consistency in the length that you've been playing this game is super strong. So I think you definitely got to give yourself some flowers, as you're holding Canada up for sure. I feel like it's you, Rowan, Zach's kind of moving into the OG grandpa. He's played long enough, but it's not really his spotlight anymore. There's some other players too. I have this other guy. I can't remember his name. I'm blanking on him, but
Estrada?
No, I love Estrada, but he only pops in when he wants to. It'll come to me. But there's a younger guy. He's played for a long time. Maybe I can look him up while we're
Lucas, Christian.
No, Jackson too.
Jackson
too, but he's not who I'm thinking of. I'll find his name here. He's been a killer for a while. He kind of sneaks around. Nobody really pays attention to him. Let me see if I can find it. Go by tournaments. Canada. How do I find? I wish I could just look up by Canada. Can you do that on Pokemon.com?
You can look. Go by ranking you Canada, but no, I appreciate you hyping me up, man. I do think I'm a great player, but it's exciting to see that I get to play with everyone here too, which is awesome. So, here, I'll pull up Canada for you here if you want to look at our all-time list.
I really want to give Bro his flowers because I really like his game, but I'm forgetting his name right now. No. Where's he at? No, Landon's definitely a silent killer too.
Yes, Landon's under the radar. Sure. 2 regional wins. I think he's the only one of us that has 2 regional wins in Canada.
Yep. Callie White has also been killing it this year.
She's the breakout player of the year for sure.
Yeah, deserves some flowers. Trevor. Oh, there it is. Simon Luong.
Oh, bro, Simon, that's my goat, bro. Simon. Yeah.
Yes, there we go. My, I was gonna say a young Asian man, but I didn't want to say that if that would have helped characterize him. But he is a solid player. Plays a lot of complex decks.
Yes.
As you can see, he's a lost box enjoyer.
He hasn't played this year. He's only played Toronto Vancouver this year.
Yep, doesn't have a ton of finishes. However, I know he's been playing for a very long time, and I've shared some games with him, and I've had friends share games with him, and he's really strong. There's a lot of players out there that don't get the finishes they deserve because they don't go to enough events. However, I think Simon is a really, really solid, well-rounded player. Yeah, doesn't get enough.
Simon was one of my mentors growing up. Simon's a bit older than me, so he was kind of an older brother figure for me. He still is. I know Simon listens to the podcast, so I'm excited Simon get to hype you up. He won Nationals in 2016. He actually beat me in the finals. So he's the last ever Canadian national champion. He's a regional champion. He has tons of finishes in the pre-modern era. But kind of like you said, he doesn't play as much anymore. But he's a fantastic player. So if you ever, like you were saying, want to have legacy invites and you want to have legacy invites for Canada, I think Simon's a fantastic person to invite. So
yeah, I have some great ideas. I'll share some of them. One of the tournaments, I guess this is a good part to segue into kind of the setup that I'm going for. So the setup is this: to have a invitational tournament pre every IC, so for each one, the top 4 of each invitational be included in a 16-man double elimination till the finals invitational at Worlds. So it would be including the one that we're having now. If everything goes right, the 3 that we'll have next year. So it'll be the top 4 from 4 of those. So we are considering having some other invites besides the top 4 from the tournaments, but right now that's how the structure is looking. And one of these tournaments, I'm going to add like family member players, so Zach and Jay, both the Cameraman's, Kaya Lichtenleitner and her brother, the Schultzes. So right, I want to do one that has like almost siblings, and then Frank the Diaz's, bring in some old names as well. I tried to get more older names for this tournament. However, schedules didn't really conflict, unfortunately, because of DDG not us putting the nail in it because it ended. I lost a lot of months just waiting around for like, is it going to happen now? Is it not going to happen? Am I going to have to put my own money up? So I wanted, like, for instance, I'll say I wanted Ross. Ross couldn't make it because of work and travel stuff. I wanted Pramawat. He's actually working the event. I asked Jason. Jason humbly declined. He said, listen, I would do it, but I'm just not enjoying standard format. I don't think Pokemon's good right now, so I can't, in good faith, come to this tournament and not have a good time. So I asked a lot of old legends that unfortunately their schedules just didn't mix. However, with more of these events happening, hopefully I'll be able to rope them in the next time and get them to come play against some of the new up-and-comers, because I really want a mix. I want old, new, modern era, up and coming with the younger guys. And that way we have a constant cycle of players. Because here's the thing, I think people think that the top player percentage is so small, but now with the player pool, I don't know if you know this, but in 2023 and 2024, we had about 300K worldwide people with pop IDs, not including Japan or China. Now we've added China as their own thing. We have no way to know how many people in China are playing at all. And we know Japan's scene is absolutely ridiculously huge. But this year, the worldwide is almost 600K on pop IDs. So we're talking about double. So there are hidden talents everywhere. There are people who you don't know who are playing this game extremely solidly and just have not gone to enough tournaments to bypass variants to get either a big finish or to be seen. So I think the game has a lot of hidden gems right now that people are not willing to go look for, like an old school name like Simon. Like if Simon, I'm positive if somebody paid Simon to play in 12 Pokemon tournaments, Simon would have a Worlds invite, no problem. If he could go that amount of events. And sometimes that is the barrier for some of these players becoming top players, right? You could be a solid player, but just not play enough. Yeah. So that's the idea too with these invitationals, is to give some shine to players that I think, on a personal opinion, besides their accomplishments, are very, very solid players. So hopefully people will trust and believe, as myself, as almost a 20-year vet, that I know somebody when they're good, regardless of how many finishes they have, depending on how they play. So hopefully some of my own picks will do good.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. So yeah, if we could have these like all the ICs and like Worlds, like you're saying, like I think it'd be really fun. And like you said, just like rotating through the people, giving everyone a chance. So I think that'd be awesome. And I do think the old school players would be awesome. I think Aneil and I on the podcast, we always call ourselves old heads because you played actually even longer than us, but we played a long time. We're always talking about the history of the game, all that stuff. So yeah, I think it's awesome if we could get some like old legends who maybe the modern Pokemon audience isn't really aware of them, and like letting them have a chance to play, which I think would be really cool.
Yeah, especially players like I don't know. I don't think anyone knows who Frank Diaz or Israel Sosa is, but these are both absolute silent killers. Yeah. If they played more, they would. I mean, and I think Frank actually has a shot at an invite this year. I think Michael also might have a shot at invite. I know they've played sparsely this year, so I don't know how close they are, but I know that they've played a little bit.
Top 4 worlds, top 32 worlds.
Yeah, and Michael is even more slept on than Frank. I think Frank is like a little bit known, but Michael is really, really slept on. I mean, he literally had a chokehold on World's Top Cut for like 5 years.
Well, I think Frank got top 4 with Cursegar, which if anyone's played 2010, you played like a Gengar deck. Like that's his list you're playing.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's played. I don't know if he's played this year because I don't see anything for 2025.
Doesn't look like it. Just 2023, 2024. I know he went for the Japan invite and he did get it. Or did he get? Yeah, I think he got the Japan invite. I'm pretty sure, or the Hawaii invite. One of them.
Maybe Hawaii because it looks like last year he played.
Yeah, maybe it was Hawaii.
Like
because he went to EUIC. I hung out with him at EUIC. He was there.
Another name I think that like is a great name who he's been playing a bit more is Sammy Sakum. That's another like killer that I think people like don't know. When we did our top 10 players ever, I made sure to call him out. But look at this World's run, like so many top cuts, man. Like
And his brother too. His brother's a
Ferris,
silent killer.
No, they're good.
Yep.
So when you do the brother tournament, I feel like you gotta give an invite to the Sakums.
No, 100%. And Sammy, I actually know pretty decently. He comes to Florida a decent amount. He works with some of the shops around here. So yeah, he's a great dude. Also an insane competitor. I think not to spoil too much of his own business, I think Pokemon has kind of gotten a little sour for him. He had a pretty bad experience at Hawaii Worlds. He got DQ'd in like round 4 or round 5 for. Oh yeah, it was or not DQ'd. I think he got a game loss that got him out of. Yeah, it wasn't DQ'd. It was a game loss. He got a bad game loss from one of the rounds that got him out of contention for day 2, and I think it just left a really sore spot in his mouth. So hopefully I could get him to play. He's definitely, like I said, with the family one, him and Fairs were someone that I'm definitely thinking of that would be great to have. So yeah, with that, I think the community as a whole not only needs to know, the newer community needs to know about like some of these older names, because without them popularize or getting, making a community, without top players, like having spotlight, this community wouldn't have grown as much as it's grown. And now it's the exponential growth between the crazy Target Walmart stuff after COVID, the Logan Pauls and Logic, the celebrities opening the packs. Now we got the phase people who are just, spending thousands and thousands of dollars ripping packs. Like the game is alive and well. And I think the community deserves not only to know older players, but also just embrace up and coming and the new things that are coming to Pokemon with this insane popularity that the company is having across everything, video games, cards, the secondary market. I mean, if you're a Pokemon fan right now, or you've been a Pokemon fan, it's a great time to be one. This is the best it could ever be for you. Because let me tell you, when I was playing in 2010 and 2011, there was no money and you had to go 4-0 to tournament and then drop to get to Worlds. It was not the same space that it is now. It's much more friendly towards the hobby and towards the players for sure. And top players as well, to be able to actually go around and show their stuff and prove they're the best. This is the best time ever that we've had it. So yeah, very excited.
Like, it's crazy. Even if you told me like 3 years ago that I'd be doing Pokemon as my job, it's like, hey, like, come on, bro. Like, there's no way. But the game has gone to the point where like there's tons of there's a lot of us who do that now, right? So yeah, the growth has been insane. So I guess kind of like the last thing that I wanted to ask you is, do you think, like, would you love if like maybe like Pokemon eventually did something similar to this, like an invitational, and like maybe it's like you have to qualify for it, like it's something separate from Worlds, or just kind of like what you're doing where they just invite some like people from around the world to kind of just play? Like, what were your thoughts if Pokemon kind of got involved in something like this?
Right, and that is the dream. The dream is that Pokemon will see stuff like this. I think I'll bring up another event too. It's not really, it wasn't really tied to TCG. It was tied to Pocket. There was a $10,000 tournament. It had like some influencers or social media people involved, giving away big prizes and allowing people to mix it up. I think for the growth of the game, having another circuit is important, not only for the style that I'm going for, right, which is more of like a 1% circuit. We want the best of the best, right? Or like I said, the up and comers that will then dethrone the best of the best. That type of circuit, I think, is just what an audience wants. Like I think I said this previously, but what Pokemon tries to do with these regional and national streams is they try to give you the best game they can to keep you involved, right? Like, watch this player story. We want to root for XYZ player, create characters, right? So I think these tournaments not only do that, but they just give you the best way to showcase who is the best. Like, how can we conceivably prove who is the best without just who is the luckiest, right? And I'm sure you've experienced this too, being a longtime competitor, is that sometimes it's just your day and you win the tournament. And, that doesn't necessarily mean that you had the hardest route to that. You might have gotten good matchups. You might have gotten paired to weaker players. You might have been against players that have given mistakes due to fatigue. There's a lot of factors that go into winning a tournament. However, with a tournament set up like this, where it's basically you're not ever getting a free opponent, you're not worried about matchups because the field is too small, right? So you just have to be prepared for every deck. I just feel like this environment specifically goes, hey, look, you don't have room to make mistakes. Your opponent's not gonna give you many mistakes to capitalize off of your opponents. And also, we're gonna do some interview questions and stuff. I want to see who thinks like, hey, I played against this player. I didn't think they were that good. Or I played against this player and they're a really good opponent and I got smashed. Or who are you most excited to play against? I want to get the egos out. I feel like there's a lot of and this might be controversial too, but like with the celebration stuff and having an ego and being cocky, like there's not enough of that in Pokemon. Like you should be able to sit down if like a Hedrick, right? If you get back-to-back regionals, you should be able to, leave your hand up after you made your shot. You know what I'm saying? So to speak. I could say some other things that aren't PG, but you need to let your pride hang. And I feel like, when you have characters like that, those are the people that you want to watch. The guy who's like, I'm the best. Come try and take it from me, So show a little bit of ego, maybe. Pokemon players are very modest and kind and nice, so maybe I won't get all of it, but I'd like to have a little bit of friendly competition. Competition is kind of, especially in sports, it's good to be competitive, right? It's just when we're in the game and then afterwards everything is gravy. But yeah, I know a lot of people too who have sat next to me during games. I'm definitely a yapper, so I can definitely get into it during games for sure. Maybe sometimes for not my own good, as it's happened. So yeah, I definitely want to just bring out the hyper competitiveness and really go for not only just the money that we're giving up, because there's $4,000 to give away, which is awesome. I'm glad we were able to do that. And really, really huge shout out to my sponsor and for believing in the event and letting me kind of just do what I want to do. Without them, it wouldn't be anything. So shout out to Rip.Fun for that. Really have it be about not just money, but prestige. I came here because I want to prove I'm the best. I want to beat the best. And now I have a chance to show that I can do that, especially for like the junior and senior guys. I think Jose and Gabriel really, like, they're hungry. They're going to come sit down, and every game they're going to be super locked. I mean, I'm excited. I'm going to be, not only am I running the event, but I'm going to be judging the event. So I can't wait to just walk around and watch everybody's games and everybody mixing it up. So it'll be great. The other thing too, I'll mention, that we didn't really get into too much, but the content side of it. I think a lot of these people, some of them that I invited do their own content. Some may be thinking about doing their own content, whether it be, classes, articles, whatever. The content game has changed so much since me and you have been playing, that you can come shoot your games. So I'm allowing everyone to film their games, post them to whatever they want, do whatever they want with them. And I think this is a great opportunity for just top players from around the world to mix it up, meet each other, be in a neutral space that's not like, hey, I need to worry about making X amount of decisions for my Worlds invite or for this tournament. It's a little more lax, more about the camaraderie about the game too. Kind of the ethos of it is we're an international game where the best players mix it up, meet each other, make content. I think it's a great opportunity for people to just network and meet each other for the first time if they haven't gotten a chance, right? So
I agree. I mean, I'm gonna film it. I'll probably vlog. I'll try and get all the international people in the video for sure. I'll film my games too, because I think it'll be awesome just to watch them back. So no, it's a really exciting thing. So I'm excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, we appreciate you being a part of it. Also, too, I'll go ahead and throw out there because I haven't released this yet, but it'll come out. We'll be streaming the event. It will be streamed through Limitless and on their YouTube and their Twitch. Sorry, we're gonna go for a walk real quick. Through Limitless and Twitch. So really shout out to Robin for allowing us to do that, and Jesper for making that happen. So that's great. We also have some awesome casters. We have Kyle Sablehouse, Jeremy Jowlin, Frosted Caribou, and my good friend Aaron Curry. He was my original coach. If any of you know, the 2009 world champion Steven Silvestro. Him and Aaron had a huge part in teaching me how to play the game, and they have been playing the game for so much longer than me. So he is an expert on playing the game. So he's going to be commentating. Glad to give him some love. And yeah, I'm really hoping that not only will this do well, I think no matter what, I completed my goal. My goal was to make the tournament happen, to get everybody in one room and to have a great time. Whether, if anything goes forward, won't really matter to me, because at least I accomplished one and I'm focused on that. Once I get to the next one, then we'll worry about accomplishing that one. But just super happy that all the players could come, because without that, it would mean nothing. So yeah, all of you guys showing up and being able to be there early means the world to me, because like I said, it would not happen without the players coming. And yeah, just super stoked to make this happen.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm excited to be part of it too. So it's next Wednesday, like a week from today when the episode drops, for everyone who watches it on release day. So tune in on Limitless. And in the comments, maybe like write for Hunter who you'd like to see at the tournament in the future. And hopefully it's a success and we keep having these. So yeah, Hunter, thanks so much for like talking with me. If you have any like final shout outs you want to give, like I know you said a lot of people helped you make this a tournament. Anything else you want people to know, go for it.
Yeah, I got a long list of shouts. First to Adam Skarzig for making the art for me. I am not an artsy person, so I really appreciate him making the logo. It's amazing. I love it. Thank you so much. Shout out to Kyle. He's known me since I was a child. Without him, I would not be able to land all these casters or probably afford them. So I really, really appreciate them taking their time to help me out. A lot of this tournament stuff was, in the beginning, was spit on the handshake and let's try to make this happen. So I'm glad that now that it turned into something big and we were able to get a big production company and all this type of stuff involved so we could showcase this stuff to you guys. So shout out to Kyle. The two people that helped me get the most players and my assistant, so Carter Barsh for helping me with the Japanese players. He goes to Japan a lot and he's a great friend of mine. He's been my email and social media assistant because I don't do any of that. So shout out to him. Shout out to Pedro and Jesper. Pedro for nailing down all the Latin players. Without him, I would not be able to do this. Same with Jesper for nailing down communications. It was a big network of making this happen. Also, shout out to my brother, Mike Morin, who helped me assemble our production team, which we basically made a ragtag team of social media influencers, people who have streamed Pokemon tournaments, and professional cameramen. One guy, he's actually working on a Netflix series. So we made our own production company out of nowhere. So really love and shout out for that, because without them, we'd not be able to bring the stream. Like I said, shout out to Robin for trusting us to put the event on, and Jesper for making that happen. And then finally, but not least, shout out to Rip.Fun, my sponsor and the sponsor for the event. This could not happen without them. Their beta is going to be launching soon. We'll be giving codes for the beta for their platform during the stream. So if you decide you want to go check that out, please do. I think it's an awesome platform. It will be super fun for collectors and traders, for people who just want to buy Pokemon cards. So shout out to all of them. Also, shout out to my website, Cutter Tap. We've added a bunch of new writers and have moved over to Metafy. We're going to be cross-pollinating between our website and Metafy. Added some great writers, some from Canada, Rowan and Jackson, both writing for us now, as well as Caleb Roderson, Michael Davidson, Andrew Hedrick, Piper Lapine. So we have a pretty stacked writer. We've been, they've been the team, or not team Cutter Tap, because there's no team of that, but the old DDG, where we've all kind of stuck together and they've continued to write for Cutter Tap. I really appreciate all of them. Without them, they would not be keeping me and Finn's baby alive. Like you said, we're old men now. We're just kind of enjoying the game for what it is. My time is done. I've gotten the best that I can. The best I can do is keep playing every year and being consistent and helping the younger generation come up, which is kind of, the biggest thing for Cutter Tap and for the Masters Cup. These things that I'm doing are all for the future of the game and not really anything for me. I'm getting old and I won't be here much longer playing Pokemon. So I'm excited to just still be here. And I appreciate you for having, not only coming to the tournament, but for having me on and give me a chance to talk to the people about the tournament. And hopefully we can all have a great time and play some high level Pokemon and catch it on camera.
Yeah, agreed, man. I'm excited about it next week. So it'll be good. So again, thanks to you for coming on. Hopefully you guys tune into the tournament. And like I said, put in the comments anyone you think should be in it, or any suggestions you maybe have for next week of things you'd like to see or things you want me to film. So thanks everyone for tuning into the Shift Gear. As always, we'll catch you guys next week.